I'm going to recap all the upsets in Division I men's basketball yesterday that occurred. First, it starts with number 21 Maryland lost to a bad Ohio State team, 73-62. What happened? Ohio State was 4-14 in the conference prior and 12-17 overall. This is a bad loss for Maryland here. Ohio State was up 35-29 at half. In the second half, Ohio State scored 38 points while Maryland scored 33. I expect Maryland to be unranked now because of this, potentially. Maryland didn't shoot the ball bad in this game, 22 for 50 overall. Stanford 19 on threes, 36.8%, 11 for 15 on free throws, 33.3%, 24 rebounds, 8 of those offensive, 9 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks, 10 turnovers, 16 fouls, 8 points off the bench. Ohio State had 14 points off the bench. They shot 24 for 50 overall, 5 for 14 on threes, 35.7%, but to 20 for 20 on free throws. 32 rebounds, 9 of those offensive, 9 assists, 3 steals, 6 blocks, 12 turnovers, 20 fouls. So, it really doesn't affect the standings too much in the Big Ten, but going forward for Maryland is the following game remaining besides Big Ten tournament. 18-12 Penn State. They're on a bubble, I believe. I believe they are. And that game's on the road, so you gotta beware. Ohio State, on the other hand, has, and actually Ohio State was 12-17 at the time of this game. Still bad loss for Maryland. Ohio State has 18-11 Michigan State on the road. Ooh. Now the next upset we're going to go over is number 23 Kentucky men's basketball, who just got back in the rankings, lost to unranked Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt hit a game-winning shot with 2.6 seconds left. And Kentucky tried to score, and they couldn't at the very end, but still, there's more to the game than that. Vanderbilt had a 34-30 lead at half. Second half, Kentucky scored 36 points while they allowed 34. So, Kentucky for the game did not shoot the ball good. 32.2% from the field, 19 for 59 overall, 3 for 19 on threes, 15.8%. They can't shoot. That's a problem. 25 for 35 on free throws, 71.4%, 48 rebounds, 18 of those offensive, 6 assists, 5 steals, 3 blocks, 11 turnovers, 12 fouls, and that's 10, 12, 26 points off the bench. Vanderbilt had, that's 33, 34, 36 points off the bench. They shot 40.3% from the field, 25 for 62 overall, 8 for 24 on threes, 10 for 13 on free throws, 76.9%, 35 rebounds, 9 of those offensive, 9 assists, 6 steals, 1 block, 9 turnovers, 22 fouls. So, Kentucky's final game of the regular season is Arkansas. That's 19-11. You gotta beware. And Vanderbilt has Mississippi State as 20-10. So, and that game's at home. It doesn't really affect the standings too much. So, the next game is number 25 Pitt lost to unranked Notre Dame. And remember, Mike Bray is stepping down after this season as his final year at the program. And that was his last home win. And it does affect the standings in the ACC. Miami, Florida now is 14-5. Virginia's 14-5. Pitt 14-5. Duke 13-6. Clemson 13-6. NC State 12-8. North Carolina 11-8. Wake Forest 10-9. Syracuse 9-10. Boston College 9-10. Virginia Tech 7-12. Florida State 7-12. Georgia Tech 5-12. Notre Dame 3-16. Louisville 2-17. Yeah, it creates more chaos. And of course, there was a little bit of a foul game at the very end, but Pitt for the game didn't shoot the ball bad. 44.3% from the field, 27 for 61 overall. Sam for 22 on threes, 31.8%. 20 for 36 on free throws, 55.6%. You got to make more free throws. 40 rebounds, 16 of those on offensive, 8 assists, 7 steals, 1 block, 8 turnovers, 20 fouls, 19 points off the bench. Notre Dame had 8 points off the bench. Without those 8 points, they don't win the game. Or they would be down to 80. Of course, they only had 2 points off the bench. They win the game. I mean, Notre Dame shot 49.1% from the field, 26 for 53 overall, 10 for 27 on threes, 37%, 26 free throws made out of 31, which is 83.9%, 33 rebounds, 4 of those offensive, 14 assists, 4 steals, 3 blocks, 9 turnovers, 25 fouls. Now, Pitt has an interesting game coming up. It's against number 16 Miami on the road. That game could decide who wins the ACC. That could. And I'm pretty sure Virginia they definitely have another game, I know. They have Louisville at home. They shouldn't lose. So there's going to be probably a two-way tie. It's just who's going to be that 1 seed. That's going to be the biggest question. I know Virginia lost to Pitt, so in their only regular season meeting. So if Pitt were to win, they own head-to-head in the only meeting they had this year. Now, Miami, Florida defeated Virginia once for sure, but I know they did. So yeah. So either way, they're kind of on the outside looking out. Now, for Notre Dame side of things, the only game remaining is it's got to be a road game because it was the last home game for Mike Bray as a head coach at Notre Dame. On the road with 21-9 Clemson. They're on the bubble. They can't afford a bad loss. And the last upset is number 9 Texas lost to number 22 TCU. And TCU led the entire way. 75-73 was the final score. TCU was 44-32 at halftime. Sure, Texas rallied back and scored 41 points. And TCU only scored 31. But the problem is, it's hard to make up all those points up. It is. And TCU technically got a dunk at the very end, with less than 5 seconds left instead of fouling. Texas didn't foul to extend the game. And sure, Texas did make a 3 as time expired, but by that point, it was game over. And I don't know why on that last possession, that on defense for Texas, after TCU missed a shot, they didn't foul right away on the rebound. You gotta save yourself some time. You give yourself some time to just do foul game and hope TCU misses free throws. But you know what? This definitely means one thing. Kansas wins the Big 12. And I'm going to go over the standings right after this. First of all, Texas didn't shoot the ball great. 39.1% from the field, 25 for 64 overall, 8 for 22 on threes, 36.4%, 15 for 19 on free throws, 78.9%, 28 rebounds and 11 of those offensive, and 19 assists, 7 steals, 5 blocks, 11 turnovers, 18 fouls, and they did have, that's 11, 14, 30 points off the bench. TCU had, that's 12, 14, 22 points off the bench. They shot better than Texas, 46.4%. Though it was a struggle for both teams in the second half. 5 for 13 on threes, 38.5%. 18 for 23 on free throws, 78.3%. 46 rebounds, 15 of those offensive, 17 assists, 6 steals, 6 blocks, 22 turnovers, and 19 fouls. And the crazy thing is, TCU's best player, Mike Miles, only had 1 point, which was at the free throw line. And they still won. And the turnovers, too. Now the standings, Kansas definitely got the regular season title. They definitely do now. Because one, Texas lost to Baylor, and then Texas fell to TCU. Right now, it would be Kansas 13-4, Kansas State 11-6, Baylor 11-6, Texas 11-6, TCU 9-8, Iowa State 8-9, Oklahoma State 7-10, West Virginia 6-11, Texas Tech 5-12, and Oklahoma 4-13. Now, TCU's next game though is against Oklahoma on the road. Well, yeah, life in the Big 12, there's no nights off. I mean, I would think that would be a win, but you never know. And Oklahoma has to win. Even if they don't win this game, they have to win the conference tournament in order to get to the NCAA tournament. And I don't see that happen. No team in Big 12 history has ever won 4 games in 4 days. Now, Texas, on the other hand, they have a bad game coming up. It's Kansas and Austin. Uh-oh. That could be another loss. Could be. 3 straight losses to the end of the year. We're at the wait to see what happens in the Big 12. And I know there's going to be some tiebreaker rules involved for not only the ACC but the Big 12. Because what if, let's just say what if, Texas beats Kansas, somehow they do. Kansas State beats West Virginia and Baylor beats Iowa State. I would assume Baylor would be the 4. Because, and I'm going to go over the, if you want to check out the procedures of the tiebreakers, it's on the Big 12 website, just to make it easier. And I know if it involves 2 teams head to head, whoever swept, that's it. But if it was like 1-1 against those 2 teams, because remember, this is the last time that there's going to be home and home against somebody. And it's like a winning percentage versus the teams occupying in the highest positions in the final regular season, all the way, and then continue down the standings until one team gains an advantage. Like 2-0 is not better than 1-0 or 0-0 or 0-0, and 0-1 is not better than 0-2, something like that. Of course, if it still is tied, they're going to have to go based on conference road records. And that's it. And then comparison of the tie team's only road record versus the teams occupying the highest position in the conference standings. Then continue down until whoever gets the advantage. Of course, if there's a draw, there's going to have to be, it will be conducted in immediate attendance. The institution is involved have a right to have a local representative at the drawing, and then a slip of paper for each institution with the name or logo will be placed into a container and will be drawn from the highest to the lowest. So we're going to have to wait and see on this. I know that's the rule for the Big 12. I don't know about the ACC. And this is the last year, in terms of like 10 teams in the Big 12 here. And next year, there's not going to be a home and home. It's going to be just one and done on some of those teams here. So we're at the wait and see what happens in terms of conference schedules for basketball going forward, because there's not going to be like a round robin anymore. There's not. This is the last year of it. But I will say, I think Kansas State loses to West Virginia. I think that happens. West Virginia's on the bubble. They need a win just to guarantee themselves in. So I think that happens. I think Baylor somehow beats Iowa State. And I think Texas. And it wouldn't shock me if Texas would lose. But either way, if Baylor wins and either Kansas State or Texas loses, Baylor could move up to a 3 spot in the Big 12. Of course, if Kansas State and Texas would lose and Baylor wins, Baylor moves up to the number 2 spot without any tiebreakers. So that's just going to have to be a wait and see situation, because it's complicated. And of course, if all 3 teams win, I would think Baylor would be the 4. I think Kansas State would be probably either the 2 or 3, and Texas is either 2 or 3. So we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, if you like this content, hit like and subscribe and see you guys on the final subscribers. We're on the road to it. Let's go.